it's getting more and more that way every week.
That's really something.
Well, you tell people the truth, they won't come back in here and set them free, and
oh yeah,
they enjoy it. And so the only problem I have with them is they sit there and listen, they get the tapes, and they do all that.
Yeah.
But then when someone gets into trouble, one of their friends, they call me and want to pay to do his paperwork.
Oh, well, you can discharge other.
What I'm wanting out of all this is for 20 or 30 people in there to understand how to do these things.
Right.
And start doing them for people.
Doing it for people. Like I could discharge a friend's loan.
Yeah, as long as he'll sign it.
Oh, so then it would be my signature and then his signature.
Well, it should be his. If it's his debt, he should sign it.
Oh, okay. You mean just help him do the paperwork and then he sends it in?
Just do the paperwork and let him sign it.
Well, can't you also discharge somebody else's debt if you wanted to be like a good Samaritan?
I've never thought of it that way. Maybe you can. I don't know.
Okay.
The issue in that, you're talking about a straw man. The issue in that, if you're going to say you're going to take care of somebody else's debt,
yeah,
is you got to have power of attorney to represent that.
Oh, okay.
So make a power of attorney up to represent the other straw man, and then get a copyright on that straw man.
Okay.
And then you can do anything with it you want to.
Gotcha. Okay.
We do that on attorneys a lot. We'll copyright their fiction, and then get a power of attorney over that fiction. Then we tell the fiction what to do.
That's true. Wow.
Irritates them.
Yeah, I bet it does.
Amen. Would you say that again, please? You can copyright any fiction that there is. If you're having trouble out of somebody, a guy called me today and he said, how do I copyright some youth center or something for the city? Evidently they'd been giving him a hard time there or something. So I told him, I said, very easy. You just take out the fiction you have in your other copyright, and just put that copyrighted name in there, and then sign your name to it. Now you copyrighted it. You can copyright any fiction that has not been copyrighted by somebody else. And most of the time, only the corporations copyright their Coca-Cola and things like that.
Yeah.
If there's any ways to work those things, if you understand that it's a matter of you gaining control of the power of attorney to represent. And we're starting over here because of the Republic of Texas. We became a legitimate government March 29th.
Right.
And we're now an interim government. We're not just we were just a provisional and working toward it. So by a Declaration of Independence, we became and they know it here because, and it's really a real good example of what I'm saying about the Republic of Texas is the government of Texas, and it always has been.
Mm-hmm.
They've flown our flag from 1839. That's the Republic of Texas flag that flies alongside the United States flag.
Oh.
That red, white, and blue with the star on it.
Yeah.
That's the flag of the Republic of Texas, and always has been.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've known all these years. It just so happened that, as I tell people, I think the good Lord just set the Republic aside until now for us, so that we could bring it into the freedom that it gives to people. And so we're having a lot of fun with that now too. So
Well, you were going to start taking copyright filings or doing some documents for people?
Yeah, we're going to do all that. We'll set up and we will record the copyrights. We'll record all the common law documents. This is what your county records have a problem with, is they're set up only for corporations.
Oh, sure.
And that's why they give you a hard time a lot of times.
Okay.
They'll file any power of attorney that you bring to them. They don't care what it is, but the copyright and all of that, they're almost required to go by the copyright laws of the federal government. And when you bring one of those in, some of them will file them. We used to get them filed here in Dallas all the time. But when this new clerk came in this year, she's an attorney, and she said, y'all need to get your own thing set up, because we really can't file or record common law documents in our system. And so that's what we've set up, and so now the Republic will be recording all common law documents. And you send us 2 papers. We seal those papers and send them back to you, and the document is recorded.
Mm-hmm.
And it's put up on the webnet, give the public, the public officials ample time to know that that's recorded for 30 days, and then they step it down. And you will keep all copies of it. We will keep none of it. In the common law, you're responsible for your own stuff. You don't let someone else keep your documents or keep copies of them.
Right.
That way nobody knows your business. And so, anyway, that's what's going on. But the bonds can be used with just about anything that you get into a problem with. What we found about traffic tickets is that you need to make those bonds out to the mayor or to the city manager of the city that issued the ticket. If it comes from a sheriff's deputy, you make it out to the sheriff. The reason is the person that bond is making is responsible for that bond, and they are the ones who are holding the voucher, so to speak.
Okay.
And they've either got to sign the document or discharge whatever you're saying. They're not going to enter into that common law contract with you.
Can you explain the voucher? You mentioned the word voucher there. Could you explain that a little more?
Well, a voucher, if you're in terms of a bond, a voucher is it's a 10% that you give the voucher when you sign. In other words, when you bail yourself out, somebody bails you out of jail.
Right.
The bondsman brings you a bond. He signs it, and then what you do is produce the voucher, which is the 10%, to activate the bond. See, all bonds have to have a 10%. They have to have a 10% check on them to activate them. Bonds are usually 10 times. When you get a traffic ticket, the way it works is the banks actually have an open account for the city. And as they write traffic tickets, the bank then puts those things out as bonds. And the bond is 10 times what the traffic ticket is.
Okay.
And so when you understand that, the bond being 10 times what the traffic ticket is, somebody has to put up the 10%, and you're the one, because you got the traffic ticket, that have to pay that thing. And that's why they get so angry, because people don't pay them. Because now it puts them in bad with the bank. It's like issuing a bad check to the bank. Because the bank has they're drawing on those traffic tickets fees are.
Oh, okay.
They get a certain amount of it is put into the bank. They're actually in Texas now. They're all state related. The state of Texas is what sues you if you get into a problem with it.
Okay.
But the issue on the bond for a traffic ticket is we found that it works is send it to the mayor.
Okay.
Or to the according to what kind of city government you have.
Right.
Because he's the one responsible for all of it. And I had one to call and he says, I had nothing to do with that traffic ticket. The ticket went away. So evidently he has something to do with getting rid of it.
But let me ask you something.
What?
If you are sending a bond to a corporation for $10,000, are you saying that whoever argues that bond to activate that or whatever you're saying here, they have to include $1,000 to activate that bond?
Yeah, that's what the voucher is. That's what you're telling them to return the voucher to you. The reason
they
for
return
that
it to me, or they send it. I mean, I still don't get it.
Well, if you're going to contract with somebody, and I had an attorney that wrote back a letter that really explained it without him telling me, explained it. What you're doing is offering that as a common law contract to whoever you're writing it to, for them to enter into the common law venue and to show why they have anything to say about what you're doing. In other words, they're a third party, and if they come in and say, and they come in and they return the voucher, they send you a check. So you want to find out if their money's any good. If they want to send you a check and they send you a check, now they've got to prove that they are a person who signed that whatever you're fighting over. In other words, if you're paying property taxes, they've got to show you that they have first-hand knowledge about this and that they are part of the contract. That's what bonding it to them does. And so they can't do it and they won't do it. And the attorney really explained it. He said, it appears that the respondent wants to contract with the arbitration board, or they're wanting to contract with me. And I do not want to contract with the respondent. He didn't say the bond was crazy. He said, I don't want to contract with him. And then he put a footnote, and he said, I unequivocally deny any desire to contract with these people. And then he come up with a statute out of the Texas statutes that gave him an out. He is the one who told this lady that she owed $100,000. And that he was sanctioning her for $10,000 attorney fees. And when he got the bond, all of a sudden he wrote and he said, I don't want any part of it. And he said, statute so-and-so says that I cannot have any say in this matter, and I cannot make this lady pay this money, nor can I make her nor can I sanction her for attorney fees. And then he sent it to his company, and they basically just gave her a copy of what he had written to the company, which said, don't y'all send me one more piece of paper from this lady, from this respondent. And so they said, so we're not going to pursue this anymore, but you owe us $42.35 for printing costs. And so all we did is wrote across it, accepted, and returned foreclosure in this matter, and sent it back to them, so they lost their $42 too. And the issue in it is it's an offer of contract is what you're doing. And you're offering a contract for someone to step forward that says that's a legitimate debt that you're discharging with that bond. And you're saying, as the king and queen, I am going to discharge this debt. Now, anyone who can step forward, show me your money, give me a check, show me the voucher, whereby you're willing to come forward and say that you have a common law contract with me in regards to this matter. I've seen everything that just about you could say about the bond written. From this is crazy. I've never seen one of them sent back. If they do, they're in dishonor, and that is death in commerce. But they'll try to get you to offer to take it back. Would you like for us to send your paperwork back to you? Just right across there, accept it, and return to you for closure in this matter. Please discharge this. It all goes in the game it's called why. I know you've had it played on you by smart aleck little kids. When I used to coach them, and they'd ask me a question, and I'd tell them, and they'd say why. So I'd think they'd want a further answer, and I'd give them some more answer, and they'd say why. And then you tell them, hey kid, shut up. And he says, why? You see, that's all you're doing to them. They can't do anything to you, and you're now irritating them because all you're saying to them, you're not answering their letters. You don't have to. Once you do the bond, it's up to them to respond to the bond. It's not up to you to say anything else, period. The bond speaks for itself. And that's why you can use it on taxes, and it works. The IRS, they like them. We got one guy that they wrote back to him. The first line said, you don't need to do anything else in regards to this matter. And basically the second paragraph says, if you got any more credit, send it to us.
Well, they don't have to return a voucher, you're saying?
No, they can't.
Okay, but they just post the credit then?
Huh?
They just post the credit. They make the bookkeeping entry based on that bond then?
That's right.
Okay.
And they got on their books $3 million in a bond. If they have $3 million in their company, they got $3 million plus a bond. The bond is worth a heck of a lot more than the Federal Reserve note is.
Mm-hmm.
Because, number one, a Federal Reserve note is death to a bank. A bank cannot use Federal Reserve. They hate them. It's a liability to them. Your credit, your bond, is worth more to a bank than the Federal Reserve note. They got a promise to pay. They may die and you may die, but that promise to pay is still going to be there. And sometime in the distant future, if they ever bring back gold and silver to give you intrinsic value money, you'll be able to pay that debt. But until then, you're just going to promise because there is no money to pay anything with.
Tim? Could you speak a little more about cautions to use when dealing with a bank on a bond?
Huh?
Could you speak a little bit more about cautions to take when using a bond with a bank?
Well, the bank, if you'll notice, very seldom, if you've got a loan with them, if it's kind of a small loan or something, they keep them and you pay to the bank every month. Most of the time, when they let you write a bond or let you write a promissory note for a house, you see, they've already got their money.
The banker's attitude is, if you're not a banker, you're nothing.
That's right.
I was in global securities years ago.
Yeah.
They have a hell of an attitude.
Well, the issue though is they usually get rid of those things to a mortgage company on the houses. Now the mortgage company is a corporation, and so you can deal with a mortgage company. And usually what happens with a banker is that he will try to send a third party after you, called an attorney. And that's when you have fun with him, is because once he writes to you and tells you he's going to sue you, you just write across his document, accept it, and return to you in regards to this matter. I want this thing canceled or discharged, and I don't want to hear from you again. If you think you're representing me, you're fired. But that's mainly the way you deal with a bank. A bank isn't a whole lot different. It's just that usually you'll go through a third party. And that's all you're getting when you get a mortgage company or anyone else. If you'll notice, most of your letters now will state very vividly, we are a third party trying to collect the debt. And everything you say we can use against you. And so the issue is, and an attorney's the one that told me that. He was at a family reunion, and one of the people was griping because an attorney kept calling him up and bugging him about paying a debt. And he walked by and didn't really say too much other than he said next time he calls, just say, you're fired. And he said, I did that. And he said, the guy never called me again. And so I started understanding. I started using it in court systems and everywhere else. And but you fire an attorney out before you get to the court. You ever go into court, first thing you say when the opposing attorney starts speaking, the prosecutor, whoever he is, just stand up and say, Judge, that man does not have first-hand knowledge. And and if he doesn't have first-hand knowledge, I don't want him representing me in this matter, and I'm firing him. So but the bonds with the bank are not that much more difficult. It's just the fact that they'll get an attorney usually involved in it.
Okay.
And we've had on we've had a lot of different responses on the credit cards. We had one man that had a $5,000 limit or line of credit on his credit card, and so he sent in the bond, and he got it back. It was zeroed out. His balance was zero, but he only got a $500 credit now, so that's all he could use his card for.
Yeah, but it wouldn't take him more than a month or two to bump that up for him.
Yep.
As soon as he starts using it, they'll increase the credit limit.
Probably.
Let me ask you a specific question about traffic citations again, because the problem is the county clerk, even with the second in command for the county, does not understand these bonds. He tries to take it to the bank to get credit to his account, and the bank doesn't know what to do with them either.
He can't. Well, they wouldn't lie to you either, would they? They do
Right.
know what they're doing with them.
Yeah.
The issue is that you make it out to the mayor.
Okay.
And not to the court, because those people in that court have no way of processing any kind of money. They just process whatever comes in there and whatever they can talk people into paying them.
So I make it out to the mayor by name and
Yes,
also title?
Yes. No. But you put his name first.
Yeah.
Don't ever put the title first.
All right. And they're going to take it to the mayor, and how's he going to know what to do with it?
Well, that's his problem.
All right. I just say it's discharged.
Yes. And from that point on, anything they say, you just answer it with I accept, whatever they write. I'm accepting whatever you're doing. We did it on they put out a warrant on one guy. We did it on a warrant, and the warrant went away.
they're going to put a suspension on the driver license.
Well,
that's why one of the citations is there. Actually, they didn't accept the bond the first time.
Well, they don't do that here. I don't know, about there, but they don't suspend your driver's license for doing things like this. They didn't get this man. So they've never done a thing to him, and he's had real run-ins with the code enforcer over a car he keeps parked on his grass in his yard. And the code enforcer has never been paid for one time he's written a ticket, so he says now he goes down the street, code enforcer always looks on the other side of the street. He won't look over his street. He won't look at his house. So he got a traffic ticket, and that's basically what we did. We gave it to the mayor.
All right, I'll give that a try.
Okay, you said write it to the mayor. Well, maybe for the corporations, we should write it to the CEO then.
Well, the mayor, the CEO of the city, usually is city manager.
But I mean, when we're writing out credit card company, for instance, should we write it to the CEO of the credit card company?
Not necessarily. Anybody, if you get a letter with somebody's name on it,
yeah,
that's who you issue it to.
They're
the one saying you owe the money.
Or should you just put agents like you did on your...
Well, you do agents. I put agents, and then whatever name someone gives me.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're getting a lot of letters now with no names at all to them.
Right.
Because they're starting to understand the instant they put their name on that document that they're susceptible to whatever goes on.
Right.
And so, but that's the way we've done the traffic tickets, and it worked.
Well, the person receiving this bond would have to endorse it just like we endorse checks. They would have to turn it on the back and endorse it for the credit to get...
No, they have to issue you the 10%. That's what they'd have to do with it in order to do it.
Oh.
A bond has to have a 10%. It has two signatures to it.
Okay.
And they're not going to put up the 10%. Well, that's what they're getting you to do in the traffic ticket.
Okay.
That's the 10% they want. Because that traffic ticket has a bond out on it, 10 times what the traffic ticket is.
Okay.
Recording started.
Okay. Huh?
I get you.
And so the issue is, you're coming to them, you're saying, you show me, I'm offering you a bond.
But
give me your 10%.
But then the IRS doesn't send you 10% for them to accept.
No, the IRS does what? They just do. They put it in discharge debt.
Oh.
They don't have to send you anything if they discharge the debt.
Oh, okay. Well, then
what'll happen to your tax assessor collector?
Well, then
I have one of those things that have come back and said anything.
Yeah.
They have not bothered the people about their taxes. They have not threatened them.
Well, that's why the fellow who got his credit card paid off never got anything back. They just discharged the debt.
Yep.
Okay. It's only if they want to argue that they have to put up 10%.
Yeah. In other words, you've got a lot of these credit card people that are collecting for the credit card companies.
Yeah.
They get a percent. They buy those things for nothing.
Right.
See, as long as they make the 10%, they're home free. Mm. That's what a bank only has about 10% at most in any loan that it goes through their bank. Mm-hmm. So once they clear that, they sell the thing for 10%. They've made 10% on that note. Mm-hmm. And they don't have to collect it. And as soon as that company that buys it from them, they'll give it to another mortgage company. You ever notice how many times they send that thing around?
Right.
As each one of them collects their 10%, they get rid of it, and for 10%. Now they've made 10% more of it, and they don't have to fool with it.
Okay, the bond we send back should go to the last person, not the original loan lender.
That's right.
Okay, we send it to the person who sends us.
The one requested.
Yeah, even if it's a debt collector.
Right.
Okay.
Especially if it's a debt collector.
Send it to him.
have a question if I can ask.
Sure.
You're saying that you can write a bond for income tax, for credit cards, for property taxes. Can you write a bond for student loans?
Yes.
So you just do it the same way?
Yes.
Okay.
How about for automobiles?
There is a problem when you do that. and I've tried to warn people. You can do it, but then it becomes a war between you and the banker or whoever financed the automobile. There's a thing called a civil action. Once you do that, the banker wants his automobile. He sends someone out in the dead of night and